This still feels weird, but hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, All That Jazz. So I want to do some more of these kind of face-to-face, one-on-one things. I really want to start doing more of these, kind of one-on-ones and sit down so you guys can really get to know Jasmine and what that is, who I am and what I'm all about. So one of the things that I really never discuss is my own weight loss journey. So I felt like this would be the perfect time for me to talk about my honest journey and what I have done to lose weight, what has worked and what hasn't worked. And one of the biggest conversations that I feel a lot of people who are in this journey of losing weight goes back and forth with is to have surgery or to not have surgery. So as someone who had surgery in the past, hopefully, I'm going to give you a pretty informative take and honest opinion on my journey and what weight loss surgery has been like for me. With that being said, please sit, watch, join, and get some information. So first, I'm just going to give some disclaimers, okay? Again, this is my journey. This is what I decided to do for myself. As you're listening to this, I just encourage you, though it's a lot of information on the internet on what you should or should not be doing or what is considered easy and what isn't considered easy, do whatever you need to do for yourself and your own health, okay? That's number one right there, okay? Turn my phone off. Why is you do a video, everybody want to text you, but do I think nobody text you about nothing? I got my surgery April of 2019. But yes, I got my surgery in April of 2019. But when I realized I wanted to start the journey, it was about in August of that previous year. So I would say August 2018 is when I initially started the process. I got a referral from my doctor at that point to start the process. So how it worked for me, that first initial visit was kind of like, I feel like it was more so of like a questions and answers kind of deal. It was quite a few of us that were there for our first time. I can't remember if in that first initial appointment we met the surgeon. I feel like we did. I feel like I did meet the surgeon. So my surgeon in the hospital I went through was UI Health here in Chicago. That's 1801 West Taylor, I believed. And the surgeon that I used through them was Dr. Ganjimi. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think he's there anymore. But I can remember after the first appointment, they came back to us, like all of like the people who were attached to the clinic, and they pretty much gave all of us like a written down printout of what is required through our insurance at that time in order to get the surgery. So that's number one. If you are considering getting the surgery, know what your insurance requires from you in order to get the surgery. If it's going to be covered, if you're going to have to come out of pocket for anything, that's going to be the number one thing that you're going to want to figure out. For me at that time with the job, I had Blue Cross Blue Shield and I had an HMO. As long as I stayed in network, my surgery was covered 100%. Yeah. So UI Health is what was in network for me, and it's not far from where I stay, at probably like 20 minutes if that, so I really didn't have a far travel to get there. So that is how I ended up going to that particular bariatric clinic attached to UI Health. So for my insurance at that time, and I think the actual clinic has their own requirements too, but I can remember for me with Blue Cross Blue Shield, I had to do 3 nutritionist visits, 1 psych visit, in between that other thing. So I have to do a barium swallow test, which I don't think depending on where you get your surgery through. I don't even think people have to do that anymore. At least the friends and things that I have talked to about it, I don't even think that was on their list to have to do. But basically what the barium swallowing test included was kind of like you drink this mixture. It's very chalky, kind of like milk of magnesia, but when you swallow it, they take pictures of the inside of your throat, stomach, and all of that stuff to make sure nothing's wrong in there. Thank you, Alexa. Yeah, so that was one test that I had to do. It was, I would say, out of all the extra little things I have to do on the side, the barium swallow test sucked the most, because they don't want you to throw up, they don't want you to be nauseous while you're sitting there, and you for real, it's like a machine that you stand in, and they move you all around. So it was, at some points I was like tilted over to my back, to my sides. So yeah, that's pretty much what the test entails. I also had to do an EKG test. Of course, get all of my blood work and all of that stuff done throughout the process. I'm trying to think, was there anything else that I can think of? I feel like those were pretty much the biggest requirements. I had to do 3 visits with the nutritionist, the 1 psych visit, and then all the little miscellaneous things in between. Now for me in my clinic, something I paid attention to when I was there, I was just listening to the people around me and the insurance that they had. So I know it was a few people in my group who had Medicaid. So some of the requirements for them, like they weren't allowed to gain any weight during that process, and they had to lose a certain percentage of their own weight in order to get their surgery even approved through their insurance. So that's something else to pay attention as well. If your insurance does have qualifications in order for you to get that approval, you have to follow those things. So if you can't gain no weight, baby, you can't gain no weight. And not only that, I feel like one of the guys in my class, I think he had to lose like 30% of his body weight at that time in order to get the surgery. So that's something else to think about too. Please pay attention to what you are required to do. So when you are going through that process, you could be doing those things versus trying to wait to the end when it's time to go over for approval for your insurance, and you're coming back with denials because you didn't do what you were required to do per that insurance company's requirement. Okay. So for my particular clinic, everything, I feel like all of my appointments and stuff were already pre-booked out. So when I started, I think I did that first initial visit was considered a visit towards my nutritional visit. So I just had to do 2 more after, and then the psych visit, and then all the little miscellaneous stuff in between. So for me, I had a visit in October, I had a visit in November, and then I had a psych visit in December. And then because I am a smoker, they had me do a second psych visit that following January. But that's all pretty much I had to do in between that. So I really didn't have much to do, and it didn't feel like I had to do a whole bunch of work. I think because everything was spread out and I wasn't trying to get it done in a short amount of time. So I had all of my requirements done by that January. So again, I started that first appointment was in September. By January, I had all of my stuff already done. Once all of that was done, they sent everything over to insurance. So for me, sorry, I got cat hair on me. But for me, I can remember correctly, they sent all of my paperwork over to my insurance sometime that following February. I would say it took insurance about a month to get back with the approval or denial. So I didn't have any denials or any issues with that. So by mid-March, I knew that I was approved. From there, I had to go back to do another appointment. Just so again, I feel like for sure did blood work again just to make sure everything was fine. And then I had to do like something with anesthesiologist. I had to go to that department as well. So they didn't tell me my exact date. I didn't know what my date was the last time I went there. And pretty much I knew how it works with them. 2 weeks before it was time, that's when I knew I had my date. So when they started me on my 2-week pre-diet, I knew my date was that first week in April. I just didn't know the exact date. I feel like I didn't get the exact date until that weekend going until April. So that can be kind of frustrating too. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but I didn't have my exact date. I just knew 2 weeks out, they started me on my 2-week liquid diet, and then that weekend going into April is when I got my actual date. Now, as far as the 2-week liquid diet, that's something that has been completely different for any of my friends or anybody who I've known, who I've discussed. Their diet has been completely different from what I had to do. So I wasn't allowed to have no meal. Having a meal, that wasn't on my list. So my 2-week liquid diet consists of protein shakes, fat-free milk, fat-free, if you do like Gatorade and stuff like that, that was included, fat-free, sugar-free popsicles, fat-free, sugar-free Jell-O, and broth, whether that be plain, vegetable, chicken, bone. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to have an actual meal during my 2-week pre-diet before surgery. Now, a lot of people who I've talked to since then, they've been allowed a meal. I think that's pretty unfair. But if you are someone who, even if you do get the option of having a meal, for me, I didn't feel like the 2-week liquid diet wasn't that difficult. I feel like the second week was harder than the first week, only because, I don't know, it just felt like, oh my God, another week of this. But for me, my starting weight when I started the 2-week liquid diet before surgery, I was about 438, 440 at that time. The day of surgery, which was April 1st, 2019, I was 404 pounds. So that 2-week liquid diet of just doing the liquids, I lost that 34, however many pounds in between that time. So it did do its job. I was more so scared that I would get to surgery that day and then they wouldn't be able to do something because I didn't follow the diet. So I made sure I just stuck with whatever I was supposed to do with my diet. Now I am in a few weight loss groups, and I be hearing a lot of people say that they was cheating and eating and doing all kind of stuff on their liquid diet. You can do what you want to do. I wouldn't advise that. Whatever diet that they ask you to follow, just follow it. Simple. And the reason why I say to just go ahead and follow it, because when you get done with the actual surgery, the diet that you have to adhere to even after that kind of falls in line with that 2-week liquid diet beforehand. So it's better that you just start yourself off, so when you get done with surgery, you can just fall in line to what you got to do a lot easier. Okay, so the different types of bariatric surgeries include, and I have to get my phone for this so I can be exact with what I'm saying. So you have the gastric bypass. You also have the gastric sleeve, which is what I did. The adjustable gastric banding, a pancreatic diversion, and then robotic surgery, which says minimally invasive surgery that uses robotic system to assist the surgeon. So I did the gastric sleeve, which is also known as the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. This procedure removes most of the stomach, leaving a banana-shaped section. This reduces the amount of food that can fit into the stomach. So that is the surgery that I got. That's the surgery that my surgeon picked for me specifically. I don't know what surgeons think about or what they have in mind when they choose those surgeries, but I know that's what my surgeon chose for me. As far as actual surgery, like the day of surgery, well, let's talk about the night before. So they did give me like a packet, like a baggie full of things. One was like some kind of Gatorade tube to put in some water in order for me to drink the night before, some antibacterial wipes to shower with the night before. I feel like that was two of the main things that were in the bag. But I had special instructions of to drink this after a certain time before the day of surgery, and then they suggested that I shower the night before, not the day of surgery for whatever reason. So I did what I was supposed to do there. As far as the next day, I think I had to be at the hospital at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, if you have any support, family, friends, just get dropped off at the hospital if you can. If anybody lives in Chicago, you already know how they be taxing with parking and things like that. Yeah. Thank you, best friend, for dropping me off to the hospital, because Chicago would have had me fucked up paying that for a day to stay at the hospital. I'm trying to think, did I bring anything specifically with me to the hospital? I know I brought comfortable clothes to put on after I left there, and that was just the muumuu for me to throw on over my body. But the day of surgery, they do for women, they did give me a pregnancy test the day of. My nerves are really all over the place. I can just remember being really nervous. I didn't have any feelings of anything was going to go wrong or I was going to die, nothing like that. It was just the thought of I was going to be put under and they were going to be for real doing a major surgery on me. I woke up with a drain coming out of my stomach, so that was completely unexpected. I don't even necessarily think that was something that was discussed beforehand. I kind of just woke up and was like, what the fuck, I got a drain coming out of my stomach. But if I remember correctly, I think that's because I had a hernia that they removed as well. So yeah, I was someone who woke up with a drain coming out of my stomach with a little suction bag on it. So I had to drain that bag, that little suction thing, myself for about a week after surgery. As far as stitches and things, I think I had like 4 or 5 different seams, and they were stitched back together with the liquid, stitching the liquid, whatever you call that. Those were really tight and uncomfortable. The actual stitching on the stomach, I can remember the actual pain. It was painful. That day, night I spent in the actual hospital, it was painful, and having the drain coming out the stomach didn't make it any easier. So I can remember them like for real making me get out the bed and making me walk. That's the sucky part. Also, I was really nauseous with the sweet stuff, so they were giving me the liquid Tylenol. That was making me nauseous. I couldn't keep it down, so they had no point but to give me the actual morphine. So that was a plus. I was feeling good about that. Same thing when it came time for them to give me something to eat. Water was fine, but again, the Jello, anything that had sweetness to it, it instantly made me nauseous. So I most definitely had a dump bucket next to me. As far as how the night in the hospital was, it really was, I don't know. I felt like I didn't get any actual sleep in there because every few hours they had to come in and check the little things on your legs to make sure I wasn't getting any blood clots, and that IV bag I had to use the bathroom like every half an hour, it felt like. So I was uncomfortable in the actual hospital. That next morning, I was very glad to be discharged and to go home. Before I did leave, the surgeon and the team came in to just give me a breakdown of how everything went. And that's when they told me that I did have the hernia, and we talked about the bag. But otherwise, they said the surgery was good. I didn't have any of like the fatty liver and all of that stuff that they were worried about with my actual size and weight. So that was good to know. Get into Harry Potter Gryffindor, okay? Always. It's okay. As far as aftercare and after surgery, for me personally, I took a total of 2 weeks off of work. So by mid-April, I was back at work. As far as pain, I did not use any pain meds after the fact because the liquid Tylenol that they prescribed for me was out of stock around me, number one, but for number two, it was making me sick and nauseous, so I just couldn't use it. I just did that shit like a real G. As far as the actual pain, now there was pain again because I did have that drain still in my stomach. I didn't get that removed, I think, until like 5 or 7 days later. And it literally felt like they pulled a tube out of my insides. That's literally what it felt like. Literally. But after that, I would say the biggest thing that hurt, the seams. I keep calling them seams, but however they tightened up the incisions, that whatever that they used, I had one particular one that was really tight, that was like right above my belly button, that really hurt. So it just made everything uncomfortable. It probably didn't pop until the end of the month. So I was uncomfortable with that seam all month. As far as the diet after surgery, so if I can remember, I think it's 3 to 5 days you're supposed to do still liquids after surgery. At least that's what I was advised to do. After that, you move to the puree stage for like 3 to 5 days to a week. After that, you go to soft foods. And then once you do that, you can genuinely start adding the food or the full foods, the solid foods. For me, I just wasn't feeling full with the liquid. Not only that, I was having really bad hunger pains to the point where it was making me nauseous that I wasn't eating. I feel like that's really the only side effect I had after surgery, and to this day I still have it, is hunger pain. So if I decide I want to go all day without eating, my stomach's gonna be like, bitch, no, fuck that. The pains are so bad to the point where I'm literally nauseous and gagging, where I have to put something in my stomach. So I wasn't one of those lucky patients who didn't have any interest in food after surgery. That's not my journey. It just wasn't my journey. I was really sad about that. I really was looking for, I thought I was going to be one of those people who just didn't have any interest in food, and that just wasn't my journey. Like I had to absolutely eat. So I was able to skip pureed, and I went straight from liquid to soft. And then after I did soft for like 2 weeks, then I moved to solid food. So it just so happened my sister was getting married that following month, that end of May. So that's when I really started incorporating solid foods. So I would say like 2 months out was when I started eating food. Now again, because they've taken out a large percent of your stomach, you can't eat in the ways that you were eating before. I feel like the biggest thing that I can remember feeling when I did start to eat solid foods, especially in that first month, by the end of the month, it would feel stuck. So they did give me some kind of medication for that, and I took that for 2 weeks, then I was fine. But I would say the hunger pain and then that feeling of the food being stuck were probably the two biggest things that I had issues with, outside of the drain and the tight incision. Otherwise, anything that I ate, it really nothing really affected my stomach, or I didn't have any dumping syndrome or any of that stuff. The only thing to this day that really just doesn't sit well in my stomach is liquor, and I never was a drinker beforehand anyway, so that was easy to just give up altogether. Same thing if I were to have a day of eating all raw foods, salads, fruits, and all of that stuff, that most definitely gives me diarrhea. But I would say those are probably the only things food-wise that to this day just don't always agree with my stomach. Vitamins too. I've been someone who's had issues with vitamins where depending on the type of vitamin, that'll make me nauseous and sick all day, and it'll fuck up my stomach all day. So I am still someone who doesn't take vitamins every day. I've had a lot of bad experiences where it's just fucked up my whole day. So I'm trying to do better this year in 2025 about taking my damn vitamins. I also wasn't someone who had any bad hair loss or anything like that. I would say my biggest issue period wise, so I was on birth control at the time that I had surgery. So that first period after on the pill, I bled for weeks. So I eventually just stopped taking the pill. So by May, I was done with the pill, and I haven't been on birth control ever since then. So I don't know how birth control will affect my body now, but I know then I was bleeding for like weeks and weeks at a time. And ladies, come on now, who the fuck wants to deal with that? Not me. I'm sure not you either. So that would be another thing. And then my teeth. I feel like my teeth got really weak and brittle. Like it's been times I've just been doing one thing and like I'm like chewing on a piece of my tooth. That would be the other thing I've had issues with. I don't know if that has anything to do with deficiency of any type of things, or maybe because I'm not taking my vitamins how I should, but that would be the only thing I would say I've had issues with that I thought was weird versus the typical hair and things like that that people experience and lose. But yeah, I would say issues wise, those would be my biggest issues. Otherwise, again, I've been one of the lucky ones where I didn't necessarily have a negative or bad experience with the process of getting surgery, and then the aftercare of surgery. Yeah. As far as getting back active, so they do encourage you to walk and be mobile during the time of healing. They even have you walking and being mobile in the hospital while you're there for the night. So I did walk. I was steady moving. I was pushing myself even though I was in pain. As far as getting heavy or back into the gym, I didn't get into the gym. I would say for me personally, I think it took me like a year to get into the gym. And the reason being was when I was doing my research, it seemed like anybody who rushed into the gym experienced a lot more of being stifled or stuck at a certain weight, and then having to adjust their whole routine and figure out what could work for their body then. So I wanted to see how much weight that I could lose before getting in the gym. If I can remember to post any of the trackers that I was using for my weight month by month, I'll do that so you can see just how many pounds I was losing per month. But I think a big misconception is that people are going to assume that you're going to lose 20 pounds every month, and it really doesn't work like that. The surgery is literally just a tool. And you have some people where they can't instantly drop weight and they can't stop dropping weight. And then you have some people like myself where it was slow and steady. So I think the most I lost in a month outside of the 2-week liquid diet and losing those 30 pounds, I would say maybe about 8 to 10. But I would say it wasn't like I'm losing 20 pounds here, 20 pounds there. The surgery is just a tool. And for any of you who like to assume and think that getting surgery is the easy way out, I would like to honestly give you the opposite advice and think about that differently, because you're actually having to do even more steps and go through even more hoops with your body and to eat and to know how much protein and shit you're supposed to take. Like, it's a lot of work. Okay, so for the people who like to get on here and assume getting surgery is an end-all, fix-all, and it's an easy process and you're easily going to lose weight, it's not. Please don't believe that. I'm literally April, I'll be 6 years out and I still don't feel like I'm done I'm still in the gym. I'm still trying to lose weight. I'm still trying to get my body together. That just wasn't, yeah. I'm going to keep throwing that out there. Please stop assuming and thinking weight loss surgery is an end all be all and it's just going to fix everything. You're just going to drop all of this weight and everything is going to be okay. That may be some people's journey, but that's not everybody's journey. You got some people, it took them years to even get off 100 pounds. It really depends on your body, protein, a lot of that stuff does come into play. Okay. So I'm going to keep saying that. Stop assuming and feeling like because someone got surgery that they chose the easy way out. It is much difficult after the fact. Okay. So yeah, it took me a while to actually get into the gym. Now I don't know. I could have had a different experience had I just rushed and went into the gym. Maybe if I had this mindset now of being able to have the discipline to be in the gym the 4 or 5 times a week I am now. If I had this 5 years ago, 6 years ago, then maybe I could be sitting here looking completely different, another 100 pounds off. But again, everybody's journey is different and everything has happened how it should have happened. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else I should cover. As far as like food, like to this day, how much I can eat, of course I can eat more than what I could have ate then when I first got surgery. But now if I take my time and actually sit the 30 plus minutes and eat my food and take my time, and I can actually get through a nice amount of my food, and certain foods you can eat more versus certain things you just can't sit and eat. So of course, carbs, potatoes, bread, things like that, those are going to fill you up a lot quicker than sitting and eating fruit or crackers or, munchy stuff like that. So I started out again, my highest weight was 440 pounds. Almost lost my life, y'all. Ooh. Sit my ass still. But yeah, so my highest weight was 440 pounds. Today I am, now I ain't got on a scale this year. The scale is a dirty bitch. Okay? Do not let the scale determine your journey, whether you have weight loss surgery or not. If you are on any kind of journey of losing weight, do not let that scale determine your victories or determine how much work you think you've put in, because that bitch will lie to you every fucking time. Okay? The scale is a bitch. Do not sit and if you're going to get surgery, don't be someone who gets on who gets on the scale every single day or every single week, okay? Now, if you are someone who is monitoring your weight monthly, I would suggest at least do it monthly, but don't be someone who gets on the scale every week. Just don't do it, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. Don't do it. Quickest way to get yourself discouraged and pissed off. Don't do it. And don't look at other people's journey and the amount of weight that they have lost and let that be a measure of success for yourself. Have your own journey. Take your own time. You got some people who can get surgery and drop 100 pounds within the first year, and it's very easy and it's quick. Then you got some people where it takes them time to get that weight off. That is okay. Listen to your body and take your time. It is not a race. It's not. It's really not. Okay? When I first started this process back in August of 2018, I was about 420 to 430 pounds, okay? Jump start to the next year when I knew I had my date coming that March, before I knew I was going to start my 2-week liquid diet, I ate everything. Everything I could get my hands on. Before I started my 2-week diet, I ate it, I drank it, I did it. So by the time I got to the 2-week diet, my official weight was 438 to 440 pounds. The day of surgery, I was 404 pounds. Right now, I'm sitting here about 285, 290 pounds, depending on the day. I am actively in the gym 3 to 4, no, not even 3 to 4, 4 to 5 times a fucking week. And I don't care what nobody say, it don't matter how long you do it. Oh, you just keep doing it, keep going to the gym, you're gonna feel good, you're gonna love it, you're gonna love going there. A lie. To this day, I still don't love going to the gym. I go because I know I need to go to take care of my body and my health. That's it, that's all. But I still don't love going to the gym. And I'm a year into being disciplined and getting my ass up and going to the gym. So I don't know who told us that lie. I don't know what personal trainers, what gym goers keep pushing that. That's not my journey. I fucking hate going to the gym. But I go because I know I need to go. The end. Do I regret having surgery? Absolutely not. I don't regret having surgery. If there's anyone around me who's ever said that they are going to get it or they're thinking about getting it, I give them my honest opinion, my honest journey, and I encourage them to do whatever that they feel that they need to do for themselves. And I encourage them to listen to themselves in that voice versus the opinions of others, because I feel like we live in a world, especially coming from a person who has been a big girl all of her life. We have a lot of people around us and on the internet who don't know what it's like to be overweight, who have never been considered obese. Even if you've been 20, 30 pounds overweight, you still don't know what it's like to truly be a big person, a fat person, or an obese person. And y'all are steady trying to tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing with their bodies. And I just want y'all to start considering the source, okay? Okay. Just remember that. Don't be letting folks who ain't never been in your shoes, your body size, your journey. Stop letting these people tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing with your bodies. Because oftentimes, those are the people who say, you need to get no surgery, you just need to go into the gym, or you just need to eat like this, or you just need to do X, Y, and Z. Do what the fuck you want to do with your body. Okay? Please. Please. And if you are someone who was looking to get into the gym, again, you have a plethora of people on these platforms who are going to tell you what you should be or should not be doing, or this exercise is stupid. If you want to grow your ass and get some glutes or get that fake BBL look, to do this and to do that, please understand everybody's bodies are different. When I see a lot of these big booty girls in the gym telling us, oh, you got to do this and this and this in order to get this ass, when baby, you were already born and blessed with this ass. Like, come on, consider the source, okay? Consider the source. Know your body. Go to the gym. Try stuff and stay at it. And you'll see results. And you'll see, well, this didn't work for me. I'm going to try this. I'm going to switch over to this. That's pretty much all going to the gym and being disciplined is. Trial and error. You're going to try some shit and you may feel like a fool, but if you keep at it and keep being disciplined, you're going to eventually see the results. And if you aren't seeing the results in the pace that you want to see them in, switch it up. That's it. That's all. Excuse my little tangent there, but yeah, y'all people be pissing me off with that. Some of y'all ain't never been over 140 pounds, and you want to tell somebody what they can and cannot do with their body, and you don't know what it's like to be 400, 500 pounds, okay? Okay, stop pissing me off. But yes, I don't think there's anything else I should mention. But yes, I do plan to take my camera to the gym and to give you guys more gym content. It's just something about the beginning of the year that everybody is in there and everybody's in the way. And I don't be wanting to be in people's way by recording my stuff and then them thinking that they're all in. Yeah. But I do plan to add some more gym content. So for you girlies who have had surgery or are thinking about getting surgery, if not, you're a plus size girl and you just want to know or what to do with your body, I do plan on posting more of that kind of content, because I do think it's nice to get that kind of content from someone who has been there. That's it. That's all. Just saying. Gryffindor, excuse me, y'all. So I've been listening to my Harry Potter audiobooks. So I'm currently on the Order of Phoenix. So that's why I put this sweater on, because I'm just in my Harry Potter bag right now. And I may just watch the movies after I get done with this book. Okay. I got sidetracked that quick thinking about Harry Potter. So all in all, would I encourage anyone to get surgery? I sure would, especially if you feel like that is the best thing for you to do. And I also do have people where I look at them and then be like, girl, you don't need no goddamn surgery. Just quit being lazy and get your ass in the gym and eat right. So, you know what you need. Another reason why I hate doing these kind of videos is because it's very easy to sit and ramble, man. Let me tell you. I'm usually by myself, so I usually don't have an audience to sit and talk to. So sitting and talking in front of the camera, I can sit and talk to y'all for hours. What the But thank you guys for taking the time to sit and listen to my video. Hope it was somewhat informative and you got some kind of indication of who Jasmine is a little bit more by this little sit down. Yeah. It's bad. I'm over here thinking about a burger right now. So I'm very still much. I'ma eat. I just eat in moderation. That's it. That's all.